With the release of Devil Dinosaur, honestly, one of my most favorite characters I've been playing recently in Marvel Rivals history, I gotta say, a lot of people back into the quick match space has me in a good mood because it means I can focus more on PvE. And if you want to know how Moon Knight's breaking the damage limiter with a secret glitch, be sure to stay tuned because I'm gonna tell you all about that and more. But first,
with it, clean record, Mayweather, undefeated. He came and he saw and he conquered. I got a slay at the concert, you know the story, the tortoise in here. You want the glory, your nose in the air. I couldn't care less about your money, phone, and your pair of shoes and your side hose.
what's good, YouTube? Big Unk Chaos here to give you all the Moon Knight Glide, Ride or Glide build is what I'm going to be calling this because Moon Knight is cracked and I have finally discovered the true capabilities of him and exactly how people are doing these insane clear times and run numbers. If you want more tips and tricks on Marvel Rivals PvE or enjoy the content, be sure to show your Unk some love, hype the video, drop a like. It don't cost nothing, and hey, if you're enjoying it that much, might as well join our Discord. We've had a huge growth lately, and I'd love to have you guys there. Now, talking directly about Moon Knight, he is insane. At first, I thought everyone was talking crap. I thought everyone was crazy when it came to his configuration, setup, and clearing capabilities. I was on the impression that Blade could do it better. And he cannot. The damage output, the comparisons between them is night and day. Simply because of the fact that Moon Knight is able to essentially kill his enemies without having to directly engage with them. This level of safety is rivaling that of Squirrel Girl's initial stun freeze that she uses with her squirrels. Whereas here, as you see, I'm doing billions with a B of damage, constantly raking them over the coals of this beating. But you're probably wondering, all right, Unk, it's level 125. You probably have the best gear in the world. Show me the secret sauce. And to that I say absolutely. Getting straight into Moon Knight. I know a lot of people have it in their heads they gotta keep all the tech for themselves, but I'm gonna be spilling the tea, letting you guys know exactly how you get the crazy Moon Knight damage. See, for starters, the gear. This is gonna be probably the second most important aspect. Lunar Glide Enhancement. Firing interval of crescent darts during Night Glider. That means when you're riding in the air and you set out your hunts, with the build that we've created on the blue variation, it's going to essentially bring unks to trail the direction you're going. And this determines the speed of it happening. Notice I've got it on, honestly, every piece of gear I have. The biggest thing is getting that checkpoint where it reaches about 0.5 seconds. We'll get to there real quick. I'll show you guys just exactly what that looks like so you guys can see it. You're going to want to make sure this Lunar Glide, the rate at which you're firing is down to 0.5 seconds. That is the lowest it can get. So that S tier item is going to be super necessary. You got to have basically two of those to make it work. I got a little bit screwed here on my gear because I think that this is an amazing amulet. So I probably don't technically need it, but I will be using it for the immediate future until I find something I think is better. Second thing up, that's probably equally as important, the Waxing Moon Enhancement. Crescent darts bounce between onks plus 27 times. That's going to increase your overall damage and the frequency of which they're happening. If there's one thing I could change here, I get rid of that crit damage or that block rate. And I get one of those, the waxing, not the waning moon, the waxing enhancement. Lastly, for your gear, what a really important thing here is health restored upon defeating enemies. You're going to want to make sure you're getting health back as you're attacking. I genuinely am starting to believe that that's more important than the maximum threshold of health in general, but let me know you guys' thoughts on that. Quick little view here on my stats. As you can see, I'm not the strongest Moon Knight. My other variations are actually in their 27s or 28 for Blade, but he's down to 25, Punisher trailing just behind him. So the gear's not as good as it could be. Just a little quick show for anyone who's interested. Feel free to pause or scroll at any point. This is my damage section. This here is my survival, showing how much health I have, my armor value, damage, armor multiplicator. And this shows all your special stats once again. The 27 times weighing, the Ankh charges, increasing the total that can be on the field. Now for the stat wise, for the most part, you're gonna wanna put everything you can into damage. As you're seeing here, my damage bonus is 50%. I've got 5 on output. Obviously you do all of the additional side traits when it comes to upgrading your abilities. Primary attack speed technically matters more. I probably could go ability cooldown if I really wanted to, just so I get the glide back quicker, but you don't need it. Critical hit rate, flat health, block mitigation, all at 1. 5 on the output boost, another into primary damage. I probably should put that towards ability. And I have a little bit towards health here. I know this is a little contradictory to y'all, but at first my gear was not good enough to keep me above that 10,000 threshold. That's where I think most people should sit at. 5% towards precision. I got 5 towards precision damage. A little bit more here on health because there wasn't a lot of room here. And lastly, that 200% precision multiplier. So you guys can see my precision damage is pretty nice, and the rate's not too crazy with how fast I'm going to use it. Now, this is very important. A lot of people have been gatekeeping this. I'm going to show you guys how you get your onks past that 30 threshold, because as you saw in my video, when I'm utilizing it, my onks can go up to 30. Some of you are probably maxing out around 15, 16, whatever. And this, so getting into it, Waxing Moon, Crescent Darts bounce additional 27 times. That's again that gear, plus, you know, the baseline it comes with. Moonblade hits an onk, it bounces between onks on the field 12 times. Not technically needed for what we're doing here because you're mainly flying, but still useful. This, do not click Moonrise. Do not click Moonrise. There is some type of bug right now with Moon Knight that essentially allows for you to cap out at a much higher rate. It makes it being able to actually go to 30, but if you have this on, it won't let you. You don't want to put anything into Moonblade Meteor. You're really not using it. Also, Lunar Blessing. Don't pick that either. Next up, we've got Moonlight Projection. Every 100,000 bounces dealt by an onk empowers all onks in its detection radius, increasing their bounce damage by 15% for a period of time. I'd love to get that boosted, but you know, it is what it is. None into Moonblade Resonance. You don't want to be firing direct shots, so there's no point of you having. Next up, obviously, once again, ultimate ability isn't super big here, but if you end up using it mid-flight, if you want to, for damage, I suppose you can. This here, once again, Lunar Glide, hitting that 0.05 threshold, as low as it can get. I also want to go Onk Siphon because you have KOs that generate better ult. If you end up using the energy, it's useful, but the bigger thing is going to be the Onks periodically pulling enemies together. That's going to be really helpful, especially when it comes to the flyers and whatnot. So keep that in mind. As far as your arcana, you're going to want to go for, in my opinion, first the damage. Then I like to go for the gear. I don't lie to you guys. I think that the gear is probably Scroll of Blessing and Scroll of Conquest are my favorites. Then Immortality, then Midas, you know, depending on what level you are. Because if you're past level 71, I don't think that this actually applies. I don't think that it gives you the best gear drop rate, as in like you're going to get a 750 item. I think it's more so if you were to play from levels 50 to like 60, where it still could kind of determine, you know, what type of gear you get. This has helped to mitigate that. Anything else worth noting here? Obviously, you're going to want to make sure you break that 12,000 threshold. And overall, this build kind of pilots itself. As you saw at the beginning, you set up a bunch of onks, and then you glide around them. It's not that complicated. The biggest thing to remember with Moon Knight is going to be that you have to target your placement. And when it comes to bosses specifically, I don't know why I didn't think of this, but you got to throw one of the onks on the actual bosses. It will stay. And what you do from there is you essentially just hover around above the body. You're not actually chasing the onks. You're chasing the body of the person who has them. So make sure that you're actively not being like me and just dropping these around and wondering why he's not taking damage. The big thing that's going to be the damage contributor will be the direct onk on him and hovering slightly above. What's great about bosses like Rataska, or however you say her name, Cap, and even Kingpin is that they're pretty much, you know, confined to a certain area. They're not going to be teleporting around, and they're not going to make the area impossible for you to stand in. So because of that, I think that you're going to have a better time fighting against them, especially on the modes where you're defending and lasting the time. As you guys saw with the clear time in here, I've been able to successfully clear this out in what? It's about 5 minutes in so far, and it's the same run as you guys saw from earlier. So I would highly encourage all of you, give this build a fair shot. It's super fun. It's not that unobtainable either. Even if you can't get your gliding intervals down to 0.5. You're still going to be seeing significant damage and rate of fire as you're using it. Another thing that I think would be super helpful for people who are struggling or want more damage is utilizing the ult. The ult has a little bit of a function you're able to use if you time it right. All that being said, it's been fun. I've been Unk, y'all been y'all. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of Moon Knight in the comment section. And as always, be sure to tell your auntie I said hi.